Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Conversation Street Awards 2022 with me, Michael.
And me, Gemma.
And today we are going to be revealing your picks for the top stars and stories of Coronation Street in 2022. So very excited. Are you excited?
It's our picks.
It's
It's our
pick?
collective picks.
We voted as
Us
well.
and you, the viewers, have all collaborated to select our favourites of the year, and we're going to reveal them to you about now, aren't we?
Round about now-ish, over the next couple of hours, I imagine. That's probably in the plan, yeah. This is very exciting. I love the Conversation Street Awards. Thank you, everybody who's voted.
Thank you.
It's always been good seeing the numbers going up and seeing how many people have voted and waiting until... when did we find... We had to look on Tuesday, didn't we? To see who our winners were this year. Very, very exciting stuff.
Yes, we had to notify them so they could send their acceptance speeches.
Oh yes, we have got a few acceptance speeches.
And it's
today's
so...
episode is always lovely.
I was talking to you yesterday or the day before and said, isn't it amazing how far we've come, that when we first started, there was no way we could even ask anybody for an acceptance speech, and now we've got contact with almost everybody.
We have. It's been a good year this year for very many reasons for our Conversation Street Awards. I'm excited to share who our winners are. And this is our 11th one, Gemma.
I know.
It's nuts. Well, this is the 10th Conversation Street Awards that there's been a public vote for. Because if you remember the very first one we did back in 2012, we didn't let anyone else decide. It was all down to us. But yeah, 10 years of voting from our lovely listening public, and this is where we come to. So you in a fancy mood today?
Oh yeah, I'm so fancy today. I'm wearing my tiara. I brought that out of storage. It's a sapphire one, and I'm also wearing sequins, and I've got fur draped all over me.
Well, I agree with your last one because the cat has just jumped on your lap. But, we're recording this on Thursday morning. We basically just got up.
I haven't even had breakfast.
No, Gemma's not had breakfast. She's not got dressed.
That's how dedicated I am to this podcast. Jump out of bed and I was like,
It also means no fancy glasses of wonky duck gin for you.
Michael said to me about half an hour ago, so about 9:30 in the morning, do you want some gin and tonic? You want some
it's a special occasion.
Wonky duck for the recording, and I said,
Well, I've got a glass of fizz here. I've got some apple ties and a fancy champagne flute, just for the occasion, and a cup of tea as well, of course.
You've got the glass they use in the bistro.
Yes, we didn't steal it.
No, we didn't steal it. I bought it, and then Michael broke one. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much for
on my birthday last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
shall we do the awards? Are we gonna?
Yes, I think we should. I think that's far too much pre-award giving preamble.
This is not like Phil Schofield never does this.
This isn't Phil Schofield level. This is like the Oscars. I bet they've all got mugs of tea.
Do they come out and start chatting on about? Oh, I've only just got up. Sorry if this is a bit crap.
Who's going to get punched by Will Smith this year? That's what I want to know.
Oh well, there is a category for that.
I have been knocking off his wife behind your back, Gemma. I have to say. I'm sorry. I have to reveal this for everybody. So we are going to
knocking off or knocking up.
Well, you'll just have to wait and see. Wait 9 months. I love you'll find out. We are going to start off with our first award. So here we go.
That was a really weird thing to say.
So our first award for today is the A-Up Award for Best Newcomer, and we've had a couple of big names join the Coronation Street cast this year, haven't we? Only a small number, I have to say. It's not been a year of tons of new entries to the street, but we have had some quality, and that's the most important thing here, haven't we?
Oh, definitely, and our nominees.
I want to do this one. Can I do this one?
Yeah.
Our nominees. Great. Our nominees for this year's A-Up Award are Dee Bailey, who's as long expected on Coronation Street. I didn't know whether she'd ever come, but she finally made her appearance back in, was it the summer or the autumn? I can't remember. So I'm going to say summer.
Autumn. We met her in August.
Oh yes, that's right. She appeared in September, didn't she? You're right. We've got Glenda Shuttleworth, the latest addition to the funeral family of the street, played by Jodie Prenger. We've got Aaron Sanford, Summer's boyfriend, who's he's going through the ringer at the moment, isn't he? Oh, so much drama. Fern, who was Bernie's doppelganger. who plays an amusing storyline this year, which I quite enjoyed it anyway, where she was a bit of a wrong one as well, and also Griff, the evil racist, who is currently up to no good with Max and planning something big for New Year's, it seems. So, shall we reveal who the winner is for our first award?
Yeah.
The winner
Are you putting drum rolls in?
I'm going to put my drum rolls in. Don't you worry about that. I mean, I've got this down to a T after 11 years. Yeah. So the winner of the 2022 A Up Award for Best Newcomer, as voted for by listeners of Conversation Street, is Glenda Shuttleworth. Congratulations, Jodie Prenger. Good job, good job, good job. I'm very glad that she's a winner. I think definitely a deserving winner. She got 63.8% of the vote as well.
That's pretty tidy, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Dee Dee came in second place, but it was a definite and I think well deserved win for Glenda this year. So this is an exciting one. It's really interesting. I found how what they've done with the Shuttleworth family over the last few years in Coronation Street, because it had been a name that had fallen into
history.
Yeah, exactly. And Archie was a well loved member of the Coronation Street family, but I never expected that we'd actually be seeing more of his family. And we had George last year, now joined by Jodie. She was we found out back in June it was that she was going to be joining Coronation Street, and I'd never heard of this actress before, but she'd made quite a big name of herself, hadn't she, on stage on the West End.
Well, she'd been in I'd Do Anything on BBC in 2008. She won her part as Nancy in Oliver on the West End, and she's just gone from strength to strength since then. And she's appeared in just under 50 episodes of Coronation Street.
Yeah, so far. Yeah, so definitely enough for people to get a good idea about what she's like.
Impression on everybody.
Well, she was bigged up quite a lot before she came in, partly because of the name behind her, and a lot of people had heard of her, and they wanted to make sure that she was one of these characters that comes in and makes a splash. Ian McLeod at the time, this is what he'd said about her. We'll see whether we think that she's lived up to this. Glenda sails in fresh from the cruise ships with a whiff of the exotic, quickly making best friends and enemies in equal measure. Now that's interesting. I wouldn't say that she's made any enemies yet, has she?
No.
She just seems like an all-round nice, likeable, amicable kind of person. He said that character is loads of fun and has echoes of classic Coronation Street females of old. Jodie is a fabulous talent and we're all very excited to have her aboard. I see what he's done there. And I think the viewers will love her. Well, clearly they do.
Yeah.
I think she's great. It's still very early days for the character. She's certainly been enough for me to know that I like her, but we're still waiting for her big story. I think that putting her behind the bar in the Rovers was a genius move, and that wasn't something that was revealed back in June. I don't think we found that out until, or we didn't find out about it until the summer, did we? But having sort of this big, larger-than-life, exuberant character is certainly fits the sort of person that you'd expect to have behind the bar at the Rovers.
And it somehow managed to work with the dynamic of Jenny and Daisy, who are the comedic characters, but in a more grounded way. And their humour is sort of sarcastic and snarky, but hers is just, like you said, exuberant and jolly and full of funny stories. So.
Yeah, she really oozes confidence. I mean, she's supposed to, as a character, have had lots of experience.
Working with the public.
Yeah, exactly.
She's on the cruise ship singing and stuff.
Yeah, and she certainly is no
performance.
Yeah, she's certainly no retiring, what's a shy violet kind of character, is she? She just feels, to me, absolutely at home there, leaning on the bar, having a chat with the punters, and sharing a joke and stuff. I think that she's awesome.
Yeah, me too. So well done, and we're really excited to see what happens with this character as the years go by.
Yes, I just wanted to say as well, she's one of these characters that from her very first appearance made the big impression as well, because in her first episode, that was when, do you remember, she took over one of George's funerals?
Yes, because I remember in her little hat.
Yeah, exactly. She was great because he'd like overdosed on medication or something. She had a bad tooth, and she swans in off the cruise ships like Ian said, and this confidence in herself, this self-assuredness meant that she was somehow able to pick up and run this funeral, which there's not been any call for her to do so anytime since. But I guess it runs in the blood if you're a Shuttleworth.
Yeah.
And just go to show that she can turn her hand to anything, really. So like you said, I'm looking forward to seeing what the future has in store for her. And we do have a acceptance speech from Jodie as well, which is very exciting.
Oh, yes.
We got to meet her back in August when we were at the set, and kind of touch base with her, and I've messaged a couple of times since, and she's very kindly agreed to say thank you very much for her A-Up award. So over to you, Jodie.
I've had to sit myself down. I really can't believe it. Best newcomer. Thank you. Genuinely, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You get so nervous starting on the cobbles, and then everyone's just made me feel so welcome. And then this, you've made me Christmas and New Year and next year. You've made it all. Thank you so much. Sending loads and loads and loads of love from me.
Now it's time for the Top Lad Award.
Oh, we're going for a big one now.
Yes, getting serious straight away here. We've got our nominees. We have Imran, who is dead.
Yes, he's only made half a year of Coronation Street appearances, but is it enough for him to be voted Best Man? We'll have to wait and see. Not long. Who else we got?
Best Man, it's Top Lad. It's not a wedding.
Oh yeah, that's right. Although he did have a wedding earlier this year.
I know, he got married, and we also have Tyrone on the list, who was the other chap to get spliced this year. Can he win your hearts? No. Spider.
Don't give it away yet. You don't know.
We've got Spider, the undercover cop with a rebellious streak.
Yeah, come back this year and straight into the nominations list as well.
And Gary. What can you say about Gary?
Wrong one.
Such a scoundrel.
Got away with his crimes.
And finally, but not the least, our lovely Tim, who has had trouble with his equipment all year.
Yeah, he's battled many personal issues this year, hasn't he? But he's come through it.
Yeah. Oh, right, okay, hang on a minute. But only one can be the winner, and I'm going to announce that winner now.
Do it. Who is it?
The winner of the Top Lad Award for the Conversation Street Awards 2022 is Imran!
Oh, it's Imran!
Yay, well done!
Congratulations,
Tommy
Imran.
DeMello.
Good job, voters.
Yeah,
and congratulations on that one.
The Top Lad winner doesn't have to be somebody who's an angel, because he's certainly gotten up to some naughty things.
He has. I mean, I was obviously, as you were, gutted to find out that Charlie DeMello was leaving Coronation Street early this year, and they certainly didn't give him a positive exit where he kind of went out a hero in a way, didn't he?
Of course he did.
But he had a couple of dodgy months leading up to that.
He rescued his beautiful wife from a car crash that she caused because she was so knocked with him. Something to do with the dishwashers or something, or bins. I can't remember what the
so many reasons was. Why a wife. As soon as she got a ring on that finger, she's like rah, 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 rah.
Shut up, you.
She's taken it to extreme because it is a soap. No, she'd found out about him lying in court. Yeah, he had been a bit of a naughty boy earlier this year, all because of his fatherhood.
She found out that they'd lost Elsie. Well, she blamed him for everything that had gone wrong. Basically, her whole life just kind of shattered around her, and it was because naughty Imran had a naughty affair with naughty Abby.
Well, it's funny because he started off the year, didn't he? I think it was at the last scene of 2021 was Abby revealing to Imran that she thought she was up the duff with his secret one night stand baby, but then it turned out it was going to be okay. Sure. So she did a test and she came back to him.
No, she didn't.
Oh, well, no, she just came to him and said, "Oh, you don't need to worry about it." And as far as Abby was concerned, she wasn't trying to hide it or anything,
she had periods. She thought she was in the clear. But no, Alfie, little poor Alfie, was born prematurely in March.
Oh, I just love the scene where it dawns on Abby. I can't remember whether it's probably Toya that reveals it to him, and the camera just kind of zooms in on Imran's face as the realisation dawns on him that, yeah, that's probably my baby there. But then from that point onwards, he does his very, very best to fight for custody of Alfie, because eventually, once she's thought about it for a little bit, Abby decides she'd quite like to keep him too.
But he decides she's not allowed because she's a naughty drug addict.
Yeah,
so he smears her name, and well, he thought that she was taking drugs, so he gets paralegal Ben to help him to prove it, and he does a bit of naughty lies, and so Imran commits perjury in court and says that Abby was a druggie.
You know. Yeah, maybe it's just because I like Imran so much, and I think I'm in good company here as well, because what did you say the percentage? 52.9% of people voted for Imran to win this award.
And can I just tell everybody who the runner-up was, please?
Yeah, go for it.
It was Tim.
Tim, runner-up of the year. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
he's the second best lad. Okay, good job, everyone.
Yeah, maybe it's because I liked Imran so much that I maybe make excuses for him. But I think that they didn't completely write him off as a character, did they? They wanted to show that he had a bit of honour in him, even when he did kind of do a bit of lying in court. It was, I'm going to say it was because Ben coerced him into it. And Imran really did believe that Abby was taking drugs, didn't he? Because remember that scene where he went round her flat and found like an empty bottle of morphine in her bin that turned out that she'd taken off of Laura. So he had very good reason, and it was Ben who was pushing him to say, no, let's just lie in court, let's just say, and also even like, you know, he had his lovely wedding with Toya, the pre-wedding scenes, the stag do was all kind of fun. They although they made him give some dodgy, shifty looks a little bit in the first half of 2022, I think he did still go out a hero in a way, would you say?
Well, he saved Toya.
This
is what we say about Coronation Street, and one of the things I've said I like about some characters is that they're not good or bad. He's a very complicated character, and he did some really great things, and he did some really bad things, and he was one of these morally grey characters, but he was kind of a tragic hero in a sense, because he thought all the way through he was doing the right thing.
Yeah. Well, he just wanted his son. Yeah. And he believed that this, you know, jug-addled strumpet was maybe not the best person to bring up young Elfie. And we saw from some of the scenes he had earlier this year and last year with Elsie just what a lovely father he was. I mean, that was when he was chasing Elsie around the flat and everything. It was utterly adorable. And I think, well, it seems like the fact that even though, when did he die? It was like the last day of May, first day of June, I can't remember. The fact that it's been 6 months since he even appeared on Coronation Street, 7 months, and people have still voted him as top lad of the year. It feels like there's a bit of forgiveness there.
Definitely.
Which is, you know, the best I could have hoped for. If we had to lose Imran this year, if he had to be tarnished a little bit with his exit storyline, at least people have got fond memories of him. And I'm just really, really pleased because obviously he's a big friend of the podcast, and for him to come in, when did he? 2017, I think he started, and he got his AOP award that year.
Oh, you got to get him all, haven't you?
To go from AOP award to top lad award.
Yeah.
I mean that's what you want. I assume you want. So I think he's happy with it.
Can't put words in people's mouths.
Well, we can't, but he has put some words in his own mouth.
That's right, Michael.
as the saying
and
goes.
So we'll slickly transition to that, shall we?
Let's find out what Charlie has got to say about winning Top Lad Award this year.
Hello, Michael. Hello, Gemma. Hello to everyone. Everyone of the Conversation Street family. It's Charlie here. I just wanted to say a huge thank you to all of you for your incredible support over the years, and especially this year. It's been a very strange one for me. It's been a year that has been full of a lot of upheaval, obviously, personally and professionally. But that is no bad thing. Like, it is really an unbelievable whirlwind, and to have had the first half of the year be so devoted to Coronation Street in the way that it was nothing short of a joy and an honor, honestly. Like, it's a place that I'm hugely proud to have worked, and it was a story and a means of writing me out of the show that I enjoyed every single day. I had just the best time. I was constantly challenged. I was working with some of the finest actors that of any kind, let alone television, let alone soap, let alone any kind of way you want to sort of divvy that descriptor out. Like, they're some of the finest actors that this country has, and I was able to go to work with them and be friends with them every single day. So it's a huge privilege of mine to have spent my time like that with those people. So for it to have resonated, whatever that word means, out in the world, with you guys is a huge sort of validating factor and a huge cherry on what was already a year predominantly made of cherries. So it's yeah, it means a huge amount. It means a huge amount. Like, I know that that any kind of outside influence of any kind, praise or criticism should be, maybe treated with a little bit of a pinch of salt. But this community specifically is one whom I have always respected and felt respect from, even if what my character might have been doing might have been slightly distasteful. Like, you guys have always been incredibly understanding and giving of me personally as a person. And so to be validated by you guys is very, very meaningful. It's a community that Michael and Gemma have set up, and it's something that I have had an affinity with and for pretty much the entire time I worked there and beyond, before and beyond, actually. So to have finished up my time there with a sort of proverbial tip of the cap from you all is incredibly kind. It's incredibly moving. It is incredibly meaningful. So once again, thanks to all of the Conversation Street family who are listening. Thank you to Michael and Gemma, as always, for being for having facilitated this wonderful community, to have been such wonderful friends over the years, and will continue to be, as you both well know. And yeah, chances are this will be the last time that I am heard on this podcast. Certainly in this sort of way, anyway. Like, I might come on to talk about Game of Thrones or something, as we've tried in the past. But certainly in this kind of way, this will probably be the last time. So to have had a kind of, a pat on the back from you all as I try and exit gracefully through the door is yeah, it's lovely. Thank you all very, very much, and hopefully see you all soon.
Okay, our next award today is the Top Lass Award, of course, where we take a look at who you have picked to be your best lady performer of the year. Well, no, it's the character, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who's your favourite Corrie lady
That's what
of
makes
2022?
That's one of the things that makes these awards slightly different from like soap awards and everything, is that we award the characters, not the actors.
I'm sure there's a little bit of, extra love for the actors in there as well, but it's
Obviously,
definitely the characters
it's just a
that are
slightly
nominated
different
here.
perspective, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's always a hotly contested position, the Top Lass Award, isn't it? Because Coronation Street is always about the strong ladies of the street.
It's always really hard also to select.
Oh yeah, just coming up with the nominations
The nominees.
list is very, very tricky. And there's always a lot more that we want to
There's
put on
a lot
that
of
we're not able
competition
to,
for
but-
Top Lass.
Yeah, but we could only pick 5 this year, and our 5 nominees were Abby Webster, Sally Metcalf, who has been on the receiving end of Tim's issues, as we said earlier. Toya, another favourite of Conversation Street, has had many, many appearances in this year's show, but is it enough to vote Top Lass? We'll find out in just a second. Summer, of course, who has been through a troubling year.
Troubling.
Let's just say
That's a good word.
yes. She's been through the ringer a bit this year. Have we taken pity on her and voted her top lass? We'll find out. And also Kelly, another one who's sadly no longer part of the Coronation Street cast, but certainly contributed
Gone but not
greatly
forgotten.
to the success of Coronation Street this year. So time to announce the winner. And the winner of the 2022 Conversation Street Award for Top Lass goes to Abby Webster.
Yay!
Ooh, Abby, again, I think she might have won last year,
She's
you know.
always a popular character.
She's a real favourite,
and
isn't
she's
she?
had a lot to do this year, as has our runner-up, who was Toya.
Yeah, so exactly. Yeah, Toya at number 2. I'm really thrilled
Just
with
pipped
this.
there.
So yeah,
But-
Abby got 35.2% of the vote.
That's right.
And Toya was just a bit below. So it was a close run thing, but Abby ended up pipping her to the post in the end. And storyline wise, we've kind of already been through it a little bit with what went on with Imran.
Oh, it's very
But,
complicated.
Yeah,
There's
all kinds of baby drama going on with Abby this year. I think, and also, I mean, similar to Imran, we haven't seen a whole lot of her in the second half of 2022, have we?
No,
She's
they're
been
coasting.
putting her
these two.
feet up as Abby, because pop out a baby, that's the hard part, isn't it? And
That's
then,
what I've heard. That's the most important thing, and then the rest of it sort of takes care of itself.
I'm really pleased that viewers are still enjoying Abby and still voting for her as one of the top female characters, or the top female character this year. Because I know that like this time last year, there was a certain element of Abby fatigue among a proportion of the viewership of Coronation Street.
It
wasn't
can be
there?
very challenging because when the writers see that you're a popular female character, they do tend to heap misery upon your head until you break in an emotional deluge
as Summer
of tears.
is currently experiencing.
Yeah, it didn't work out so well for her, but Abby's definitely still riding high on popularity.
Yeah, well, she was she was this time last year chasing after
Dean?
No. It was Kelly. She was having a go at, wasn't she? Because Kelly had got out of prison and everything, and Abby was sort of stalking her around the street. But so she came out of that one. But yeah, Dean was her ex that she ended up getting into mischief with early in 2022. After she told Imran that she wasn't pregnant, she had a drink and drug fueled binge alongside Dean in a very memorable episode, which culminated in him stealing a car, her going along for the ride, and then having a baby.
I know this bothers me because they don't put this on the list when women are struggling to have their baby. When they're how can I induce labour? I'm overdue. I want to have my baby. I don't want them to induce it at the hospital. I want to have it naturally. What can I do? And there's all these folk remedies. I don't know, sit on an egg or eat garlic or whatever it is.
Is that right?
I'm not au fait with the latest technology. But why didn't they say have a drink and drug session and go for a joyride?
Yeah, it does.
I don't know
work
which
just as
one
well,
it was
apparently.
that was the main trigger point here, but certainly one of them did it, didn't it?
It certainly did. Yeah. Well, this is a bit of a twist. We didn't necessarily see this coming. We knew that there was something big happening for Abby this week, but when she actually went out into the country and then started having a labour pains, it's like, oh, this isn't getting exciting. And that was really the kick start for this big story of the year and the whole baby drama that we've been talking about already. But Sally Carman is one of Coronation Street's top performers for sure, and some of the scenes that she had to do this year were really showed her acting chops,
she's
didn't she? The
fantastic.
birth scene was so kind of raw and emotional. Abby kind of Alfie comes out and he's not breathing, and then you got the scene where she crashes her car into the skip after she escapes. She kidnapping Toya on her wedding day. And throughout it all, it was just really interesting to me to see how she was wrestling with the responsibility of having this child, knowing that she kind of wanted it, but also realising that she's been a bit of a bad mum to Charlie and Lexi and Seb, and should she put another
Wrestling
child
with it,
through
yeah.
this? But yeah, as we said earlier with Imran, she ended up getting custody of Alfie, and everything seemed all peachy until I can't remember how it happened. It was eventually, I think it was because Imran lied in court, he and Toya were the ones that got custody of Alfie, weren't they?
And then Elliot was trying to help her, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And eventually she ends up trying to kidnap Alfie. This is what almost leads to...
she's going to run off to Costa Rica.
Yeah, she was, wasn't she? Yeah,
because
she got the passport. She snuck a picture of Alfie at the naming ceremony.
Oh, I love this.
Now. And so, Imran and Toya. Oh god,
she became the hero of the story, and Imran and Toya were sort of the villains in a sense.
It did kind of feel that way.
People took sides in a really kind of sexist way against Imran because he's the dad. He's also evil, but she was kind of a bit sneaky too, trying to kidnap her baby.
Yeah, well, you got to do what you got to do, haven't you?
Well, yeah.
Mother's love
modern
and all
life, modern women. You can't have it all.
So after Imran's death, Abby is granted this interim care order and is placed with Wendy Papadopoulos. So we've got Abby to thank for having getting Wendy back onto the show this year as well. And then we didn't really get to see a whole lot of her. There was a really lovely scene because we've seen a bit more over her over the past year of her kind of bonding with Jack, another. Not son, but adopt. Has she adopted him now? I can't remember what the status is.
She was going to adopt him, but then Kevin got annoyed with her. So
that was earlier in the year. I can't remember where we ended up. But do you remember that there was a scene where Jack wrote a speech for his leavers assembly at school where he was basically saying, my family's great, including Abby, and that was all kind of very sweet and heartwarming.
Then he turned on her.
Maybe. But yeah, we've not seen much of her recently. She came back for a couple of scenes. She was there at Tyrone and Fizz's wedding last week, and I do hope that we will get to see a lot more of Abby because she's such an asset to the programme. But I just hope that it's not going to be too much misery that's thrown at her. I don't know.
Well, she's got
Surely
a lovely
you can get
baby
some drama
now,
out of some positive stories as well. Let's see some lovely family stuff with her and Kevin. Seeing what it's like for her to be a mum correctly this time.
There's no correct way to be a mum.
Well, Sally Carman is not just popular with our listeners. She also won Best Performance this year at the RTS North West Awards. So congratulations to her. And here is a virtual award to go on her mantelpiece.
Yeah, sorry, it's not.
We can't give her a proper one because she's got so many awards at this point.
It'd just be rude, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but anyway, we have got, of course, an acceptance speech from the lovely Sally Carman-Datine, because she got married this year, didn't she?
She's had lots of things to do this year.
Yeah,
she still won an award. Well done.
Yes, third time to win an award. So,
but what's her favourite prize of the year? New husband or Conversation Street Award?
Absolutely, Conversation Street Award. Well,
I don't remember her giving an acceptance speech at a wedding.
Well,
not that we were invited.
Let's find out what
Maybe
Sally...
she did, I don't know.
Probably said something quite nice about him.
Actors probably always give acceptance speeches when they see lots of people with glasses in front of them.
Let's find out what Sally Carman-Datine has got to say about winning this year's Top Lass Award.
Hello everybody, it's Sally Carman here. I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who voted me Top Lass. I can't quite believe it. I'm a bit blown away. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I hope you're all having wonderful Christmases. And here's to a brilliant rest of the festivities. I don't even know if that's a sentence, but yes, sending you all a massive smacker. Thank you so much. Bye.
And now we've got the Our Kid Award, which is for the best young character, not necessarily young actor.
Usually the two of them.
Usually the two are related
go hand in hand,
some
don't
manner.
they?
So we have our nominees. We've got Hope Stape, who is a little minx, isn't she? But she's learning about English literature, so that's fine with
she's
me.
bettering herself now.
Yeah, talking about swatting up, we've got Sam, our chess genius. Although they say he's a chess genius, I don't know. It's the same as when you play poker. I've got no idea what you're doing.
I think he's quite good for his age, to be fair.
We've got
Love Sam, but another very popular one with the viewers as well.
Yes, he is very adorable. Someone's not quite as adorable at the moment is young Max, who's got himself into a bit of a sticky situation. We're still waiting to see.
He's had a big year, has he, this year? Hasn't he? Gave him a push down the stairs. He's been groomed by racists. He's cut his groin open.
He got blown up.
He got blown up. He's had a bit of a tough 2022.
And
so
he got pushed over and someone stole his crisps.
Yes, that is the most
And we got
important
to see
thing.
that happen
From
live.
a distance,
Yeah.
didn't we? Yeah. So can we make it better for him after a terrible year
Do you think that
by
would-
giving him a reward?
Do you think that would solve his wounds?
Yeah, absolutely.
We've also got another wounded warrior, haven't we? Kelly, our lovely,
Kelly Nealon.
poor, sad,
Alas,
orphan
gone.
child. Went with her knapsack on the end of a stick.
Yeah, lost her mum and her dad, I guess, this year. Although her dad
Can't
had been
trust
gone for a few years.
the man who took her in because he's an evil murderer, killed her dad.
Mm-hmm.
What a time. And Joseph.
Oh, poor
our
Joseph.
Cute little waif.
Yes, he finally got his pair of trainers for Christmas this year. After
That was actually
after
adorable.
waiting like 10, 11 months for them.
Oh.
But yeah, he had
And
a
they
really big story at the start of the year.
They probably bought him the size he was in January, and now they don't fit. Sad.
Who's won, Gemma? Who is our winner this year?
I am pleased to announce the winner of the 2022 Conversation Street Awards for Our Kid goes to Kelly.
Oh, it's our
Nealon.
Kelly.
No, so what a turnaround here, because I
I
was not
know.
Kelly's biggest fan for a long time, but she's such great performances by Mila Gibson. She's absolutely fantastic in that role, and she had so many dramatic storylines and chances to show off her acting chops.
I'm just like always amazed how young she actually is, because she turned 18 this year, didn't she? And the amount that she's
Such
been able to
talent.
put out, the fantastic performances, like you said, and such a range of stuff as well, has been flabbergasting, quite honestly. But I do want to give a bit of a shout out to Paddy Beaver in the role of Max as well, who came second. So Kelly got 32% of the vote, and Max was just snapping at her
Worthy.
heels there.
Very worthy runner-up there.
Absolutely,
Good job,
I think
Paddy.
he's been awesome. But yeah, Kelly Nealon, no longer, sadly, on the Coronation
Another one
Street
who's
cast. Yeah, but I mean, she is moving on to into big things, isn't she? Because we're going to be seeing Millie starring in Doctor Who. When is it? The year after next. Still a bit of a wait, but definitely
Ruby
Coronation
Sunday.
Street's loss is Doctor Who's gain there.
Wow,
but,
she's defected to the BBC now.
yeah, I know
She's going
she
to have
has,
all these
hasn't
airs
she?
and graces, isn't she? She's going to expect tea in a teacup with a saucer.
Yeah.
No, not a mug.
I really did enjoy many elements of her leaving story this year, although back early in 2022 we didn't realise that that's what it was gearing up to, of course. Poor Laura Nealon, who is a character that we never thought we'd have any sympathy for, when she popped her clogs this year. Millie really was just absolutely phenomenal in those scenes, wasn't she? Having to wrestle with the quandary of, my mum's just confessed to killing my dad, but she's also on her deathbed. Should I go and see her?
Nah.
Yeah, and there's this like 5-minute long scene where she goes and visits Laura in hospital before she dies, and she's just amazing. But both performers are fab in there. But she gets up to all sorts this year. She gets She disowns her mum. She helps her mum out when she finds out that she's got stomach cancer. She pays for Elliot to take up Abby's case in the baby story. She goes around doing a Robin Hood act with her big wads of cash, doesn't she? Given to all the people that her dad has taken money off. She has she helps out Stu in some ways. What did she even do with Stu? I can't remember, but she was definitely very cute in that story, I'm sure.
Yeah, and she also has a love affair, doesn't she?
Oh, that was so sweet.
With sweet little Ardy, and they pretend to be engaged.
I thought they were lovely together.
Fall for each other for real, and
and then she goes and crashes his car into a bollard.
But they were gonna go to Gretna Green, and but then Sharon at the engagement party tells her that Gary murdered her father.
Yes, not Laura after
Kelly
all.
decides to use her powers of money for evil instead of good, which is how most people honestly spend their money.
Oh yeah, because she'd got kidnapped. That was another. She got up to it. She squeezed a lot on this year, didn't she, R. Kelly?
She
got
tried
herself
to get...
kidnapped into a basement. It's like
yeah.
I can only do this for about a week, guys, because I've got other stories happening.
Yeah,
but,
I'm busy. I've got to spread myself thin around here.
Yeah, so Gary ends up rescuing her, doesn't he, and beats up the evil kidnappers.
She arranges for them to kidnap him, but then they kidnap her.
Yeah, she's making a contact. I know, and has those epic building top scenes.
Volume wall.
With the volume wall.
And then she's sad.
September.
And she also sees a ghost.
Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about that. She does get visitation from her ghostly dead father, doesn't she?
He's like, burn it down.
Yeah, she had
chaos reigns.
A real year. So I mean, you sometimes get characters when it's their time to leave it can be over and done with it in a week. Like, and this isn't the best exit category by all means, but I think that Coronation Street knew that a lot of their success in the past 12, 24 months had been down to Kelly and Millie's performance, so they gave a real proper decent exit here. And I just loved it.
Now there's definitely potential for a comeback. Now,
it all depends on how well she gets on with Doctor Who, really, doesn't it?
Well, who knows what the future holds? She's so talented. I would love to see Kelly back on the cobbles.
She had a really nice ending scene with
did.
Gary, didn't she? After the whole rooftop drama was over, there was another it felt like a 5-minute odd scene with him.
Reconciliation committee.
Yeah, where he is kind of forgiven.
Sorry, I killed your dad. And she's like, sorry, I tried to get you killed. And they're like, bygones.
It's just tragic because I thought that, despite only being together for a month or two, her and Ardy were a really super couple, really cute couple, and she had to abandon him.
Shot to save her life.
Oh yeah, he did, didn't he?
So many things, so many dramatic things. This is the thing about Kelly's story this year, is that you can forget she was kidnapped because so many other things happened to her that seems like a sort of minor deal. But for any other character, that would have been their major storyline of the year. But that was just a day in the life of Kelly Nealon, wasn't it?
Coronation Street just knew they could literally throw anything at this very talented actress. And she'd go, and then knock it out the part of their performance. And
her performance with Mother's death, that was my best scene of the year.
Yeah, that was fab.
If you're a patron, you'll know that because we went through all of our top.
We did. It was really lovely getting to meet Millie as well earlier this year, wasn't it?
She is absolutely lovely.
We made her acquaintance back in March when we went up to Manchester, and she's the nicest person. She was so lovely and fun to chat to, and very humble, considering how big a star on Coronation Street she was. She was just like
very down to earth and very sweet.
She really was. She was just a really good laugh.
Very open and very generous with her time. She is just a gorgeous person, and I am so thrilled that she's moving on to such an epic show, and one that you also enjoy.
I'm really looking forward to seeing her in Doctor Who.
I've said this about 5 times already now. Doctor Who fans don't know what's going to hit them. They're going to have such a fantastic partnership with her and the new Doctor. I'm excited to see both of them on the screen, but I'm especially excited to see what Millie's going to do, because we already know she's fantastic, and I just hope that the BBC know what they've got.
I mean, it always used to be, especially back when Doctor Who first came back in 2005, that the Doctor and the Companion will be winning awards left, right, and centre, like the National Television Awards and everything, and they haven't done in the last few years because Doctor Who, I think, has gone off the board a little bit. But I think it has. But I think that with Millie back in the passenger seat of the TARDIS.
I can't wait to see her.
It can only spell good things for the programme, because she certainly won her fair share of awards on Coronation Street, didn't she? I mean, she got a British Soap Awards for the Best Young Performer. Obviously, the Conversation Street Our Kid Award trumps that, but I think that the future is looking very, very bright for her. So congratulations, Millie.
Couldn't be more pleased for you, and I'm so glad that you won this award. Because the competition, honestly, is getting hotter every year for this category. The Our Kid Award. There was a time, I think, very early days of the show, where there was a standout character for that category that felt like an obvious choice, but it was really hard. This such a talented cast of young characters, and also they've been given some really intriguing storylines. And if Ian McLeod has done quite a lot of really good things for the show, but I think one of his biggest achievements is diversifying the age range for storylines and really investing in young talent on the show.
Yeah,
and when you have somebody like Millie Gibson that you've had on your show, it just shows you that investment pays off.
Absolutely. So, with all that said, let's move on to our next category. And up next, we have got the Flamin Nora Award, where we celebrate the flame-haired beauties and beaux of the street by giving them a very, very Conversation Street specific award. Don't get this anywhere else, do you? But it's very important.
This is what brings the punters in as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Coronation Street's got a legacy.
This is our version of Sexiest Soap Female.
Absolutely.
star.
And it's not
whatever
just
it was.
female. I can't remember whether any male actors have ever won this, or any male characters
need
have
to
ever
try
won this.
harder.
They do. Maybe Craig's won it once. I can't remember. But our reigning champion is Jenny, because she's won 7 years on the trot now. Is this going to make it an 8th? We'll find out.
Well, who's the nominees?
We have got, going up against Jenny this year, we have got Gary Windass, as we said earlier, very important year for him this year. We've got Phil, bit of a fan favourite character there. 2 L's, don't forget that. Fizz, another huge year for her, what with everything.
She got married.
She's had 2 big years, hasn't she? Jenny McAlpine in the show.
Thanks to
As a
Tyrone.
big Fizz fan, I'm very, very happy about. And Glenda, our newest character to be in the category.
She almost disqualified herself.
Almost. She's not quite ginger anymore, is she? But
She had beautiful red hair.
when she
now
came
she's got
in,
black hair.
I'd almost wonder, is that actually really her natural hair colour?
I'm wondering if she knows the importance of the Flamin Nora award, because I think if she did, she would not have dyed her hair.
I wonder whether she just saw who she was up against and was like, crikey, I'm a bit nervous about
Now, we don't
my
discriminate
competitors
here against natural or bottle redheads. We
No,
love
so
all of them
anybody
equally.
who wants to be a contender for next year's Conversation Street Awards for Flamin Nora Award, just get yourself a bottle of
I'm saying right now.
what's a brand of hair dye?
I don't know. I literally don't know.
Gemma doesn't need to know that.
I don't. What are you saying? It like I dye my hair? I haven't dyed my hair since I was a teenager. It's too much bother. I can't be arsed. But some other people who might want to dye their hair to be considered here. I think Stu would look gorgeous.
Oh yes, maybe Stu next year.
Who else could go? Yasmin. Why don't they just go ginger as a pair?
Yeah, I would have liked to have maybe seen Kelly giving it a pop before she went, and of course Nina, her hair's going all over, all kind of colours at the moment. So you never know who's going to be the contenders next year. But
what about Toya? She's got lovely blonde hair at the moment. She'd just need to put a bit of red on that, and she'd be in our Flamin Nora category, surely. Yeah.
Well, we have dilly-dallied long enough with it. It's time to
everyone's
reveal
in suspense,
who the winner is. I know, I'm sure nobody can guess this one. So, the winner of the Conversation Street 2022 Flamin Nora Award goes to... It's Jenny Connor again. Oh my gosh, 8th year in a row. Congratulations. Oh god. Is anything ever going to knock her off this?
Well, Fizz tried. Fizz was in second.
She was in second place, but
still a respectable win from Jenny here.
Absolutely.
And, she's had a bit of a time, hasn't she? Her boyfriend was murdered, and she doesn't even know.
No, she doesn't know that yet, does she? I mean, otherwise I say we're recording this on Thursday at the moment, and
she might well
last
find
night's
out.
episode ended with a little bit of a cliffhanger, Leo. So,
what news does Teddy bring from Canadian wastelands?
I think by the time this gets published, we might even know this.
We probably will do. Yeah.
But that was a bit of a bad time for her. Two dead fellas. And in as many years after Johnny last year.
Well, that's the issue about being a flamehead beauty, is that sometimes men get burned.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, or shoved off a gantry into a bin.
Well, it's similar, isn't it?
And Johnny was kind of the opposite.
Drowned, yeah.
I don't think he could have got burned down those sewers.
It would have been a sad step too far, wouldn't it, to have burned him as he drowned.
I thought the appearance of Teddy was quite funny at the beginning of this year for Jenny, being an ex school friend of hers and the dad of her current boyfriend, and it really made a big made her reconsider. Should I be going out with this chap who's somewhat younger than me? But she stuck to her guns.
She got engaged to him.
Yes, she did, didn't she? Yeah, you're right.
And then he gets killed, and she thinks she's going to start a new life in Canada, but no.
She's also attracted the attention of Stephen Reed this year, hasn't she?
Watch out, Jen.
Yeah, she had a funny scene earlier this year where she was talking about being all combobulated and snogging Stephen. So I think that one's going to come back and bite her at some point. But
she's absolutely fabulous behind the bar too. With Daisy, their relationship has taken. It's sort of turned into a really comfortable, lovely mother-daughter sort of relationship. They're so comfortable with each other. They've got this little code, haven't they, of eye glances, and then Glenda's come along as well, and this trio.
There's the strongest Rovers team that we've seen in a good few years. Actually,
and Jenny
at the moment.
is in her rightful place as queen of this amazing team of really fabulous characters.
Yeah,
and,
so let's get more scenes in
more
the Rovers for
Rovers.
2023, please.
We've seen 2022 was the year of emerging from COVID, not just in real life but also on Coronation Street. And I feel like it's almost safe to say now that I think the
kind of back
impacts
to normal-ish.
are very diminished from COVID on Coronation Street. So more Rover scenes, more people in the
We're
background.
seeing more people in the background and,
More
and
people
fuller Rovers. It's maybe
having
not
a
quite
pint.
the same as it was. I'm even comparing back to like the 80s and everything here, where all the characters would just end up there at the end of the episode.
Well,
and I don't know whether we'll go back to those days again. But
I
the Rovers
think
is filling.
if anyone should win this category, it definitely should be Jenny, landlady of the Rovers, top job on the street, and she is the top Flamin Nora.
Can't believe you got it called that. Of course, Sally Ann Matthews is a friend of the podcast, and she has not that that's affected how things have come out. This is all the listeners that have voted for this.
Well, this is
But she has got something to say, of course, about her win this year. So over to you, Sal.
Wow! Thank you, Conversation Street listeners, for voting me as the winner of the Flamin Nora Award. I really didn't think I was going to get it this year. Jenny's not been very active, but trust me, in 2023, she's going to be getting into all kinds of drama. But thank you, I'm absolutely thrilled. And yes, I'm still ginger. No grey.
Ooh, and now we've got one of my favourite categories of the year, the Wrongest Award.
The best villain of the year.
That's right, we've got a lot of evil antagonists on Coronation Street this year.
We do. We've got this year quite a lot of kind of bubbling away, maybe building up to something huge antagonists, haven't we? We've not got your Pat Freelands, your Jeff Metcalfs this year.
Not a big bad.
Not a big bad, but we've got some fairly medium-sized bads that have been just as fun to watch. So who do we have as our nasty nominees?
They've all been meddling, haven't they?
Mm-hmm.
We've got Lydia, who was the thorn in Adam's side this year. And speaking of thorns, we also had a Mr. Thorn, who was the consultant who dared to say that perhaps Peter might be responsible for some of his foie gras liver issues.
He was brilliant. I love Mr.
He was
Thorne.
such a smarmy, smirking arsehole.
I thought he was going to turn into something bigger, but for the scenes
I
that we had
think he won that with Peter, because he's sodded off to Florida.
Yeah.
I don't think he got his comeuppance. Maybe he'll be back next year. Stephen, who's actually murdered somebody, let's not forget that, even though it was a bit of an accident.
He was just there when
Or did
he
Leo
died.
murder himself? Who can really say? And then we've got Griff, who is a racist.
Yes.
And an evil groomer.
And an environmental racist.
And blows children up with bombs.
Accidentally.
And Fern, who has the audacity
to look like Bernie.
And be a bit posh.
So who's our winner? Who has got our wrong on winner of the year, Gemma?
The winner of the 2022 Wrong and Award, Conversation Street style, goes to Griff.
Wow,
oh,
Griff.
He's so evil, Griff.
Yeah, very, very close call this one, but with 40.1%, Griff was voted your wrong-un of the year, and I'm really, really pleased by this.
Yes.
And a character who, when he came into it, wasn't necessarily flagged up as a big bad, was he?
No. Now he's the winner, and the runner-up quite close was Stephen.
Yeah.
But Griff just takes the biscuit here because he's a very charismatic, swaggering guy, isn't he? He shows up. He
charmed Toya at the beginning, didn't he?
He shows up in August as a protester along with Spider, and Spider's warning Toya off of him straight away. Toya warms to him immediately. And
Spider, of course, knows, he's there as in his undercover cop guise, and he knows what Griff is capable of. But he, as you say, charms Toya and Peter because all this stuff with Mr. Thorne, Peter kind of takes against the
medical
big bads
community
in the medical profession, doesn't he? And they have these big pharma conspiracy chats.
Thought this was quite funny.
Yeah.
And he joins in the protest against Nadeem Atala at the factory, and it's become apparent to us in retrospect that perhaps Griff's problem with him wasn't that much to do with environmentalism and more to do with the fact that he had a different colour skin, which is sadly Griff's main problem with people.
Well, yeah, but it wasn't until October, so we'd been in the show for a good 2-3 months maybe until we found out what exactly, just how nasty he was. And it was when the racism story came in, and it starts off with him taking Peter to the to the rock concert with sinister lyrics.
Yeah,
which was always my favourite description that we got during that story.
I know we laugh about it, but how scary would it be if you were like, you're just like mind your own business? Maybe, well, he doesn't have a beer. Peter's sober. That's probably half the problem.
Yeah, exactly. He was there swigging his orange juice in the room, going, "Hang on a minute,"
and then you're suddenly like, "What was that chorus about?" Yeah. I'm going. I'm not staying around here.
Ever since that fateful episode, Griff has been properly nasty, and I think he inhabits the role very, very well.
Oh, he's perfect. He's so good. He's so sinister. He can turn it, doesn't he? He becomes very dark very quickly, and he threatens Max quite often in a sort of very jovial way, like it's just a joke, or is it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he wants to get Max on his side, so the most of the time he's playing this fatherly, chummy kind of figure, isn't he? Kind of grooming Max and getting him, luring him in, I guess. But there have been a few times that we've seen, like recently in the camping trip, when he passes him the knife and is like, "Skin this rabbit," where we've definitely seen a real sinister side to him. And Max is totally falling for it, and he's kind of saying he's not racist. Part of him, I think, knows. But the other scene that reminded me of just how great Griff was at being a somewhat malevolent character was when he showed Max the dodgy video of we didn't get to see what was on the video. That was kind of left to our imagination, but it was what turned Max and made him supposedly realise what a threat the Islam community was, or that's what Griff wanted him to think, at least. He's just been a lot. He's been a fun villain as well as a nasty one. I've enjoyed seeing him, and I'm absolutely fascinated to see where the story goes.
Part of his appeal is that he's so very different from any other villain we've ever had before. I don't think we've had an ideological villain on Coronation Street to this extent. Who's one of the major villains of the show. We've had people who've come in and said unsavoury things, or have espoused a different point of view and been roundly told off, and then run off with their tail between their legs. But this guy has been in the show for a long time now, for quite a few months, and it's very interesting that he's that they've gone down this road with him.
I loved the scene that he did at the community centre where he was speaking out, or it started off talking about environmental issues, didn't it, and about invading foreign species, and it kind of segues neatly into this clearly racist rant about immigrants and refugees and everything, and
resources.
Yeah, I just think he's fab.
We've got to protect the resources.
I very much enjoyed him, and the mystery that came about with his first couple of months in the programme just added to that as well. So I'm very, very pleased that he's been voted wrong on. I still think we're waiting for his big villainous act, aren't we? Because he's been quite good at. He's just been, like I said, luring Max in up to this point, maybe coercing other people into doing naughtiness.
Well, we know he's got something big planned soon.
Yeah. So I think probably I don't think he's going to get killed off. He's not kind of feeling like that sort of villain to me. But it would not surprise me if by the end of 2023 he's banged up in jail somewhere. But maybe he could still win the Wrong On Award for next year as well. I just have to see whose competition is, won't we?
He kills anybody.
Anyway, congratulations, Griff, and we have got an acceptance speech from Michael Condren, who plays him. And if you haven't heard Michael speaking in real life, you might be a little bit surprised by this. But here is Michael saying thank you very much for the Conversation Street Award.
Hello, this is Michael Condren. I play Griff Reynolds in Coronation Street. I just want to say a massive thank you to Conversation Street for, first of all, hosting these and thinking to sort of put me forward for it. So thank you guys very much. I listen to the show, love the show, really, really great. So yeah, thank you so much. So I just kind of want to have a wee list in front of me, just sort of thank these people. First of all, I want to thank everybody who took the time and the energy to vote. it was very kind of you. I don't know whether being voted a baddie is a good thing or a bad thing. Hopefully it's a good thing. Hopefully it means I'm doing my job okay. People in the show, and specifically that I want to sort of thank as well as part of this are, first and foremost, Martin Hancock and Georgia Taylor. I was really lucky and blessed, as I said to them at the Christmas party, to have those two people to share my first scene alongside Julia Golding. But Martin and Claire have been there from the very, very start and incredibly supportive. Two brilliant actors and two really brilliant friends now, which is fantastic. I also need to thank Paddy the Diva Beaver, as I christened him after his NTA award. You couldn't find somebody who is so far removed from being a diva than Paddy Beaver. An absolute gentleman, a brilliant actor, a brilliant friend. I can't wait to see what he does going forward. It was a joy to do this story with him and chat with him and figure out how we were going to do it, how he was going to do it, I was going to do it, and together what we could do. To Luke and Scott and Carl, I just want to say thanks very much. We've had some brilliant times, brilliant trips out to the countryside. We certainly have created a bit of a story for ourselves amongst it. Thank you for being and helping me create this story. And Ian, Verity, everybody at Coronation Street, all of the crew who are unbelievable people. I had such a brilliant time with them. All the directors that I worked with. Everybody, it's cliche after cliche, but like Coronation Street, I can tell you this now, is a family, from everybody who works upstairs, from everybody who sort of just keeps the building going, and as I say, the cast and the crew were incredibly welcoming. The admin staff upstairs, superb. So yeah, I've had an absolute blast. I've loved it, and I want to take this opportunity to thank those people for helping me win this award. I hope this isn't too long, so I'll wrap it. Have a great new year, everybody. And I know there's amazing things to come in the show. It's all going to be very exciting. Thank you. Happy New Year.
Okay, so on to our next award of the evening, and this is the Eki Thump Award for the best scuffle of the year. Renamed again. This is our most renamed reward, isn't it? It's not a fight because there haven't been enough fights. It's not a punch because there have been some fights. So we just kind of gone for any kind of violent altercation between characters, really, is enough to get you nominated for this one. And I do like a good punch up on the cobbles. These are our nominees for this year. Tyrone and Phil's festive fight last Christmas Day. We also had a brilliant moment earlier this year where Peter punched Mr. Thorne in the Chariot Square restaurant there. That was pretty fun. In the face in the restaurant. We had Lydia pushing Adam over the balcony at the shopping centre. There was, of course, the scuffle between Leo and Stephen on the gantry that led to his unfortunate demise. Yeah. And also Daniel pushing Max down the stairs, which I know got raised many a cheer from a number of viewers when that happened this year.
Inappropriate.
Well, it's true.
It's all a bit fun.
So, the winner of the 2022 Eki Thump Award for Best Scuffle goes to Leo versus Stephen.
Ooh.
Love it.
It's the one that led to a murder.
It did lead to a murder-ish, like I said. I mean, if we look back at that scene, oh, no, he kind of does, because this is after Leo had seen Stephen having a chat with Gabrielle about his money duplicitousness, and then he invites him up onto the gantry, and he's kind of quite swaggery, isn't he? Like, I know something about you. I know you tried to trick Audrey.
I don't think that Leo was singing this in his face.
No, he was singing it in his head, though.
If
definitely.
He had done, then this would have been justified.
Yeah. So he goes to phone Audrey, and he's like, and usually on Coronation Street, everybody's got everybody's number in their phone book. At least this time, hears Leo just say, "Yes, and luckily Audrey is in the phone book." So he's done his preparation for this, but alas, he was not prepared for what happened to him next, which is Stephen swinging down on his head. They kind of have a bit of a tussle. Oh no, sorry, they tussle first. Then the phone is knocked out of Leo's hands and onto the floor, and then this is when Leo's like, "You need to calm down, old man, you'll do yourself an injury." And as Leo goes to bend down to pick up the phone, this is when Stephen kind of slams his hand down on his head, cracking it onto the railings, and then, you know, the next thing you know, Leo's being rolled over the gantry into the bin below.
It's very dangerous to reimagine this in your mind as they had a fight and then Leo accidentally fell off the side.
Yeah, Stephen did give the fatal blow.
Stephen definitely was responsible for Leo's death. It was not an accident.
No, but I don't think that he obviously didn't plan this to happen. It wasn't premeditated in any way. But yeah, definitely this is... I mean, whenever this comes out, which surely it will, Stephen will no doubt try to claim it was an accident.
Oh, it was manslaughter, Your Honour.
He definitely bopped his head on that railing there.
He did.
But yeah, that was a very fun fight. I enjoyed that a lot, and that was one that we were lucky enough to see a bit of preview of before.
We did.
Before it was aired on screen as well.
Yes.
So absolutely love this. But definite shout outs to the other nominees as well, including our deserving second place, I think, of the Peter versus Thorn punch earlier this year. And actually the Tyrone versus Phil fight was only a couple of fractions of a percentage away from that as well, so it was definitely a close run thing. But we have got an acceptance speech for this. We could do well in the acceptance speeches this year, aren't we? I have to say. Are. And we don't just have the actors this year as well, because to say thank you very much for the BIAC award, we are joined by director Matt Hilton, who's responsible for this fight. So over to you, Matt.
Hi everyone, it's Matt Hilton here, who directed the Stephen and Leo scuffle / fight / death in a bin sequence, which brilliantly won this year's Conversation Street Icky Thump Award. Thank you for everyone that voted. I hope you all enjoyed it. It was a really fun sequence to work on. Michael and Gemma got to come and visit and to see the end of it, where Stephen disposed of Leo's body, which was really good fun. We had a great time shooting it and kind of making it and trying to do something a bit different with it and keep everyone on edge and have it kind of be a bit of a surprise. So hopefully it did surprise everyone. And yeah, thank you very much. Really happy we won. So yeah, thank you everybody. Bye.
And now it's time for our saddest category.
Oh, time to say goodbye.
The Terra Award for the best exit. And we had some doozies this year, didn't we?
Oh my gosh, we really did. Like, you know,
had to say goodbye.
Lots of characters that I was not happy to say goodbye to this year.
And also,
this time, 12 months ago, I had no idea who we'd be losing.
Yeah, and also some characters who had surprisingly amazing exits.
Yeah, compared to how, you know, big the character had been beforehand. Yeah, so, who have we got as our nominees this year?
Our category nominees are Imran, who just collapsed dead.
Conked out.
He
had a car crash first.
Rescued Toya, and he was fine, and then he wasn't.
I blame the paramedic that tried not too hard to revive him, I have to say.
Yeah, that was a bit...
Weak chest compressors.
Very, very bad. I think if it taught us anything is that we should all learn how to do them properly. Leo, who was murdered and shoved in a bin.
Yeah, as we have just discussed.
Laura, who was died tragically young.
Yeah, succumbing to stomach cancer.
With her daughter crying.
But taking Gary's secret to the grave.
Nice one. And Kelly, who left with a wink and a jaunty strut down the street with a knapsack around with her bags of cash.
Explore space and time.
Yeah, and then we had Emma, who went to Australia after running over some biscuits.
That seems like so long ago now, doesn't it?
It really is. It was a long time ago.
What huge names to lose from Coronation Street in 2022.
Some really big characters,
but lucky a lot of them did get really, really fab exits.
Good exits, yeah.
So over to you, Gemma, to reveal the winner.
The winner of the 2022 Conversation Street Award for the best exit goes to Laura
Neelan, congratulations. I'm really chuffed by this one. And, you know, with all the, you know, explosive exits of Britain's Got Talent Week for Imran and all the special effects laden stuff for Kelly, it did end up coming down to a really
raw performance.
Performance really from, well, I think both Kel Allen and Millie Gibson should be taking credit for this.
Definitely, because it was Laura's performance up until that moment that really made it so poignant that she...
when the moment came, it was just so tragic.
Because you knew that both of these women had been cheated of a very important, pivotal life moment of this kind of reconciliation before Laura passes away. And they've been cheated of it by Gary, who... you know, was kind of pretending or thinking he was or playing the part of Kelly's saviour, and also looking after Kelly in her, looking after Laura in her moment of need.
Yeah, I mean, up until the beginning of this year, honestly, I wasn't a big fan of the Laura character at all. I don't think you were supposed to be particularly, are you? Because she'd been painted as a really terrible parent, neglectful mother, responsible for Kelly being sent down to prison before she was exonerated towards the end of last year.
That's why she's such a fantastic character, because she was
real redemption.
Just an antagonist previously, but she's redeemed herself this year, and it is a tribute to Callan's performance that she gave her. You pouring yourself?
I'm sorry,
a
I'm
drink
just pouring
there?
myself some more apple pie. Sorry for the microphone picking
this
that
is
up in this
sad-
very serious and
We're
solemn
talking about
moment.
a sad moment here. So yeah, she returned.
Yeah, she was back in it in February, claiming that she
Totally
had.
derailed my train of thought.
Sorry.
Did you think you were being quiet?
I didn't know how noisily I pour it. I'm sure that.
Always
I'm
point
sure
out
that
when I
Laura
do
doesn't
naughty
mind.
things. Now I'm doing it to you.
I mean, and lots of people weren't sure, including the characters on screen, about whether Laura even had stomach cancer at the beginning, because she'd been such a sly. Well, liar,
Manipulative,
basically, up until this point. We thought, is she just doing this to try and get something out of Kelly? But then as the months went on, it transpired, oh no, she really is pretty poorly.
Oh no, she's not.
Yeah, exactly.
See, the thing about Laura is that she was always out for herself, and she was a terrible mum because she never put Kelly in front of her own needs. She never sacrificed anything, seemingly. She never put Kelly first. But in her final months, she actually did. And I love that for this character. I love this turnaround, and I loved how well Millie and Cal played this pairing of the mother and daughter who were sort of semi-estranged, trying to learn to live together in her final months.
Yeah, because Kelly's sneaking off, isn't she, in the night, so she skips school and stuff, so that she can, or during the day she skips school, so that she can look after her mum in her flat, and eventually Laura gets moved into Maria and Gary's flat, so to share the burden a little bit, but it was, go on.
And Laura gets the idea that she wants to help her kid in her final months. She doesn't realise the sacrifice she's going to make.
No.
But before that, she employs an ex-policeman to track down Rick, her ex-husband.
Her dead husband.
Because she thinks he owes her money. She wants to provide for Kelly.
Yeah, she wants him to provide
dead,
for
and
Kelly.
she knows that he'll have money, and I don't think she realises he's dead.
No, she doesn't. As far as she's
she doesn't
concerned,
suspect he's dead. I mean,
he's just done a flit like everyone else thinks. But yeah, it soon transpires after this policeman's doing a bit of investigating that Rick completely went off the map, off the radar in June 2019, and under pressure, Gary confesses to Laura, it was me what killed him. But on one of my favourite twists of the year was when it was then turned on its head and Laura ended up going to the police and basically taking the bullet for Gary, knowing that she only had months to live, if that, and saying, no, it was me what done it. And the scene where she's being led out of Victoria Court, just tears streaming down her face, being put into the police car as Gary's there reeling in shock because he knows the truth, so, as does Maria. Kelly's, I think, there as well, dumbfounded by her mum's confession of her dad's murder. It was just fantastic, and then it led to those awfully tragic scenes in the hospital afterwards where Kelly basically disowns her mum, doesn't she? There was one brilliant, it was about 6-minute long scenes when Kelly goes to visit Laura and Laura tells her the fake story about what happened, trying to defend herself, and Kelly's just so hardened, and she's like, I can't, you killed my dad, I don't want anything to do with you, and Laura's there sobbing saying I love you, and that's the last time they see each other, isn't it? Until the
Alive.
alive at least, and like you said earlier, the scene when we find out that Laura is dead and Kelly goes there to see her and it's too late, it was just heart-wrenching.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is the best exit award, and that exit from Laura, she shuffled off his mortal coil and had her sad, tragic orphan daughter crying. Fantastic, raw.
It's just brilliant. Kelly arrives at the hospital. Maria's there sobbing as well already because she's been the one that's been looking after her. Kelly kind of walks in there. She's standing there with her hand on the curtain, ready to, she knows what's going to be on the other side. And then when she pulls back the curtain, she just like crumbles basically. And as Kelly's there, so Kel there is there, Laura's there lying on the bed, and Millie just bursts into this. Yeah, she completely loses control, and she's almost like suffocating herself, but as all the tears are coming through. It was a really, really such a harrowing, tragic scene.
Tragic story, and a tragic end for Laura. And really, it's like I said already, a testament to this pair of actresses, and especially Kel, that Laura had such an impactful exit, and we managed, she turned the audience's opinion around on this character who lots of people really did not like because of how backstabby she was to Kelly.
Yeah, it's just amazing. I think that this was voted number one in a good way, in the face of the Britain's Got Talent. Imran's had a wall collapse on top of him almost, and Kelly on top of the building and everything, and you can have all the stunts and explosions and being thrown into bins as much as you like, but sometimes it's the character driven deaths that have the biggest impact.
Yeah, and the performances of the actors when they're really given a lot of space, which they were.
Yeah, congratulations to Laura for winning that one. Sorry we had to lose you as a character, but you took one for the team, and the story was all the better for it. We do have an acceptance speech here from Kel Allen, so it's been a while since we've heard from her on the podcast. Let's hear what she's got to say.
Well, hello. I just thought that I would jump on and say a massive thank you, as a little birdie's just told me that our Laura Nealon has only gone and won the Best Exit storyline for Coronation Street this year. So thank you so much if you've taken the time out to vote. It's so appreciated. I mean, I never even win in a raffle. So for Laura to win the Tarara Award, it's a lovely little surprise. So thanks if you've taken the time out to vote. A huge thank you probably needs to go to my mum Elaine, as I'm guessing that she's put most of the votes in. And you know what, as Laura's not here, as she's passed on to pastures new, I'd just like to say a huge thank you, and to dedicate, if I can speak, the Tarara Award to my Corrie family, who I absolutely adore. Without you guys, Laura would not have received the death that she deserved. So this one goes to my insanely talented on-screen daughter, little Millie, who is travelling the world in a TARDIS right now, to Mikey and to Samia. I adore you all, and thank you for giving Laura the best send-off. And to you guys, thanks again, and I will see you all in 2023. Have a good one. It's a bye from me for now. Ta-ra.
Okay, let's lighten the mood a little bit, Gemma, with our LOL Love Award, where we take a look back at the new couples that have formed in 2022 and see who our listeners have voted as being their favourite. So we've got 5 pairings that we've put up for nomination this year, and they are Bernie and Dev, Amy and Jacob, Ardy and Kelly, Yasmin and Stu, and Summer and Aaron. So it was almost we're able to get 5 nominees for this one actually, but we managed to get them out there in the end, and there are definitely some couples there that I know are big hits with the listeners. So let's have a look at who our winner is. Is it me? Is it my turn? I think it is. I'm going to say right. The 2022 LOL Love Award for Best Coronation Street New Couple goes to Bernie and Dev.
Yay!
Congratulations, you two. Now, this was dead close. There was a 0.2% between our top and second entries here. But yeah, Bernie and Dev won with Ardy and Kelly very, very close behind them. So, wow, congratulations. So these two...
I love these two. I love Bernie and I love Dev. You guys know I love Dev. So I think they're a brilliant pairing together and I'm so happy. And I'm interested to see where this relationship's going to go because it's probably one of the most unconventional relationships.
Yeah, and it's also one, I mean, we call it a new coupling because I think it was this year that they made it official. But the pair of them had been... getting close to each other, and they'd been to bed together. I think even before this year. But
it's a modern life, isn't it?
Dev was always one to say, he was like, "Oh, it's nothing serious." I think he was maybe a little bit ashamed to be going out with Bernie, a little bit embarrassed because she's not really his type. He's usually goes for the younger, more glamorous woman, doesn't he?
Well, this is why I love Bernie.
They make a really nice pair in these two.
She's down to earth. She's funny. She's generous. She is caring, and she's kooky. What's not to love about Bernie?
I think Dev likes likes to be the one that's in control in the relationship and feels that he's the provider and he's kind of the main man and he's just got somebody on his arm as a bit of a trophy piece. But with Bernie, I think he's found somebody that he can have an equals a conversation with, and she can give as good as she gets as well. And she's
not impressed by all the things all the trappings he has.
No, exactly. A lot of his other previous girlfriends have been very much wooed by his cash and his clothes and his shops and everything like that. And Bernie just likes him for who he is.
Confident nature about him, and she's she's just as confident, and she's totally herself. She's got absolutely no issues with being Bernie. She's not thinking at night, oh, what have I not done with my life? She bloody loves being Bernie, and I love that for her too.
Well, I think that she maybe wanted to be fun as well at some point this year. What with all the
Well, she knows what she wants out of life, and it's for family, and that's very important.
That's what's important to her, absolutely. And now she's got a little extra family member in Dev, and all of the kids and everything that'll involve. We haven't seen a whole lot really with Ardy and Asher and Bernie, so there's
honestly
a lot
those
more to
kids
come
are such a pair of little snobs, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they've raised some eyebrows about this relationship for sure.
They're the worst kind of snobs because I don't think they realise how snobby they are. But Bernie might challenge them there.
I think you're right. This almost didn't happen as well because they were still quite on and off during the year. I mean, Dev impresses Bernie early in the year by donating £3,000 to the Find Joseph Fund, and after that they announced they're a couple, and then they kind of split up again for a bit. And there was
because it seems as though she was in on a scam.
Yeah. But there was that brilliant scene in the Rovers, I can't remember, it was summertime, where Dev tries to employ her as a cleaner, and he's like doing his, "Hey Bernie, you fancy some work? You know, a bit of private work?" And he's kind of winking and making out that he's trying to
ask for personal
services. Ask for some personal benefits, exactly. And she punches him round the face, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, why would you do something like that?" It was brilliant, and after that they just kind of end up getting closer and closer together. She does almost spoil it by breaking Ardy's golf trophy, if you remember,
and then sticking it back together again,
masking tape or something. But yeah, they decide to make a go of their relationship in the end, and he was actually really sweet during the Fern story because he was the only one that believed that this mysterious doppelganger even existed, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's right. He's a loyal guy. You can say what you like about Dev, but he can be a bit of a philanderer. But I think once he's
he's grown and matured.
He's older now, and I think he's more loyal than he was before.
Excuse me, sir. The fact that he's taken on Bernie and everything that comes with it, which means Chesney and Gemma and all the quads and Joseph and everything, he's gonna, he's bitten off quite
on his hands now.
More than he can chew, maybe. But as for a bit of a unconventional but actually quite sweet couple, they're really, really nice. But definitely hats off to some of these other couples as well. I mean, Amy and Jacob, I really love. They're very sweet, and Ardy and Kelly, like we said earlier, for the couple of months that they were together as a couple, I think that they certainly warmed a lot of hearts among the viewers as well. But they didn't quite make it. Bernie and Dev are the winner, so congratulations, guys. And we have got an acceptance speech from Jane Hazelgrove, who plays Bernie. Thank you very much for sending us a little message to say what you think. So, Jane, over to you.
Hello, Conversation Street. This is Jane Hazelgrove, who plays Bernie. I just wanted to thank you all so much for voting for Dev and Bernie for the Hello Love Best New Couple. That's very kind of you. And thank you for all your support and your brilliant podcast. And here's to the new year. I hope you all have a fabulous one. And let's see what Devendra and Bernadine get up to. Lots of love. Bye-bye.
Bayek, Gemma, it's time for the next award. This is the Bayek Award for most shocking twist this year in Coronation Street. This is what I watched Soap for. It's to be taken by surprise by unexpected turns of events that maybe not previewed and pressed beforehand. So
if we were doing the awards in the 90s, this would have been the You've Been Tangoed Awards.
If we were doing this in the 90s, I think there'd have been a lot more contenders, because I think they do like to say a little bit more often now in advance what's going to be happening. But there's still been a good number of things that have happened this year that the viewers weren't privy to before they appeared on screen.
That's basically the idea of this, is things that took you by surprise, and things that maybe were hidden a bit better.
Yeah, things that Coronation Street wanted to keep under their hat before the big reveal. So the 5 nominees for this category are Abby going into labour. Now, considering that we'd been told on the show that she was not even pregnant, the fact that she...
that was a shocker.
Yeah, her water's broken, she went into labour, was a little bit of a surprise when that happened back in March time. Already spoken about this podcast, Laura's confession that she killed Rick Neelan. Well,
that was shocking, because she didn't even do it.
Faux confession when she didn't even do it. That was a brilliant twist, and I did wonder how Gary was going to get out of that one.
Yeah.
Imran and Toya's crash. I think before that happened on screen, this is an interesting one, wasn't it? Because in the week of the Britain's Got Talent week, I think it was the end of the first episode, ends with a bit of a flash forward to the crash. And we didn't know that exactly what was going to go down. We had a feeling that Imran wasn't going to be making it out of the week in one piece. But the circumstances around his exit were definitely kept us a surprise until the day.
Rewind.
Ardy getting shot up on the roof when he jumps in slow motion in front of that bullet to protect his poor Kelly. And then finally, Stephen's murder of Leo, which has already been mentioned a few times on this awards show, but has it got another award? Let's find out. The winner of the 2022 Conversation Street Bayek Award goes to... Stephen Kills Leo.
Yay!
It's done it again, viewers. You have voted with 54.4% of you to go with this one as your most shocking moment of the year. And I think, from a personal point of view, this was certainly... I think this has got to be what gave me the biggest jaw-dropping moment of 2022 as well.
You were going to
Coronation
say,
Street-wise.
this is what gave me the biggest joy. And I was about to go, yes, me too. I took a lot of joy in the death of Leo. Because I just loved how unexpected it was. It was just a totally... Now, the thing about this one is that it was even more shocking for Michael and I, because we found out that Stephen was gonna kill Leo before there were any little tiny crumbs. There are a few crumbs that were dropped in the run up to this.
Yeah, well, not much. I mean,
not lots. But you know what we're like. We're wild theorists on this show, so we might have even as a joke suggested that this could have happened.
Well, Stephen had been a little bit dodgy, hadn't he? Because he'd been hiding the fact that he was broke to his family and plotting to get money from Audrey. But I don't think anyone could have predicted that he was going to be offing Leo come September.
He's a white collar criminal, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's a spreadsheet.
Spreadsheet killer, yeah.
Yeah, spreadsheet killer. And who would have thought that it would have turned to real life or death situation?
Well, as you were saying earlier, we ended up finding out about it. It wasn't a surprise to us when it happened on screen, because we've been very lucky to be privy to the whole affair when we went to see some scenes being filmed in the summer. But I remember the moment that we discovered back in August that this was going to happen. We couldn't believe it.
I was so thrilled.
We were very lucky to be invited behind the scenes to see a bit of filming, and we were told, there's going to be a body being moved later, and we were like racking our brains about who it was. And then...
it was quite possible that we could have watched the whole thing without ever really knowing who the body was that he dragged.
Yeah. But we ended up seeing on a bit of paper, didn't we, that it was going to be Stephen killing Leo. It was just brilliant. And I think by the time it appeared on screen, there had been a few clues dropped in the press as like Leo was mysteriously disappeared and he was going to have a confrontation with Stephen on the gantry, but the actual nature of how it happened was not in any way previewed before. And I think there was a lot of quite stunned viewers when that scene happened in late September, and it was just brilliant. He's
We've
it
already
all kind of followed. We have covered a lot of it already.
Well, we've had Matt Hilton on the show already to accept the award for the Eki Thump for this, and now this is the Bayek Award for the unexpected nature of this, because it was a combination of so many things, and this is why Coronation Street is such a fantastic show. The script, the direction, the performances, all of these things work together so well to make a stunning moment. Honestly, it was stunning to see this sort of mild-mannered. Again, Coronation Street really hates businessmen because they're always murdering people and they can't quite get
it's the stress of enterprise, isn't it?
It really is. This is what makes me a bit worried. I mean, I've not put my money into stocks because I don't know, would be dragged into a murder. I don't know what's going to happen
speaking
next.
of dragged, that was the other bit, 'cause we didn't talk about that earlier with the Eki Thump Award, but the moment afterwards, or later on that episode, where Stephen pulls Leo, or he knocks the bin over, pulls him down past the old brewery and into the van. That was brilliant, and that was the scene that we saw being filmed, and that was probably my scene of the year, to be honest. I just loved it. Like you said, the direction of it was fantastic, and all the the sound effects in the background as well. And even if you'd seen, when you saw Stephen pushing Leo over the gantry, and that was a big enough shock, but those final moments of the episode where he's putting him in the van, that was just the cherry on top, really. Following episodes, you get those amazing flashback scenes where Stephen Reed is there on the floor watching, like imagining in slow motion the body falling down towards him. Then you got the body burning at the end. You didn't go into that week expecting quite such spectacle as that.
Amazing.
For sure. And,
definitely.
I think the other surprise of this, I suppose, is just the gear shift that happened with the character of Stephen Reed, because he'd made 2 previous appearances on the cobbles back in, I think, 97 and 2007 maybe, and he was just a businessman, wasn't he?
Well,
kind
he
of
was
fairly
Audrey's son from
nondescript character, really, and having him brought back into the show this year, I think a lot of people were quite surprised by that, like why bring him back, but Ian McLeod had a plan.
One thing I love about him is that Stephen Reed was the convenient excuse for a while. Why can't you do this? Why can't you do that? Oh, because Uncle Stephen, Sarah Louise and Bethany were working with Uncle Stephen in Milan for a long time. That's why they weren't in the show.
Yeah.
And he's gone from being a convenient excuse as to why so-and-so hasn't turned up for a wedding or whatever, to coming into the show and like bumping off a character that was dating one of the major characters, in the show, Jenny. And I love the fact that he's so evil, and I also really think that it was fantastic that Leo was the one that confronted him.
I think so as well. I mean, I was never a big fan of Leo and Jenny in the romantic sense. I thought that after seeing Jenny move on quite so quickly didn't sit quite rightly with me, so it was made all the sweeter by what ended up happening to him, to be honest.
The tragedy here is that Jenny bagged a hunk, didn't she?
She did.
And then he gets chucked in a bin. Can't believe it.
And she still doesn't know as well, again,
I know.
at the time of recording, and it feels like they're gearing up for some kind of revelation over New Year's period, possibly. But yeah, as far as we know at the moment, or as far as Jenny knows, he's away out there in Canada and are living a new life. But,
and can I just give a shout out also to the actor who plays
Joe Frost.
Yeah, who plays Leo, Joe Frost, who did a really great performance of he kind of been just a nice guy, just there, just on the periphery, and then in that final moment he turned really sinister, didn't he? That confrontation with Stephen, that it kind of could have been either of them that ended up dead.
He'd always been on the back foot, hadn't he? He knew that he was not the most powerful of character on the street, but he gets that bit of information about Stephen, who he has just found out had his tongue down his missus' throat as well, and he's like the swagger and the confidence that he gets just for those brief moments before his demise was
turns
brilliant
so well,
to
and
watch.
it's a testament to the performance too that he was scary in that moment, and is that why? Is it a good excuse for Stephen why he killed him? I don't know.
Some great scenes
wait
from
for the jury for
great
that one.
scenes from Jenny afterwards as well, as she kind of has to deal with the fact that her dear Leo is gone, and there was just some funny moments with her and Daisy as they're reflecting over Leo's legacy as well.
I absolutely love the fact that this happened. I think. And the implications are amazing as well, because you've got Leo, Leo is quite lucky in that somebody actually cares about him on the street. His dad, Teddy, he's gone all the way to Canada to try to discover what's happened to his dear departed son. Not that he knows that he's dead. And you've also got the fact that Stephen is a kind of legacy character here, because he is Audrey's son, and he's Gail's brother, and he's David's uncle, he's Sarah's uncle. He is a pivotal character in a sense, in
a very major family.
In one of the biggest families on the street, and now he's a killer, and Leo's the one that instigated this. I love this for everybody. I think this was one of my favourite moments of the year. This might have been one of my favourite moments on Coronation Street of all time, because of the personal connection that we've got to it. And so I'm so thrilled that it won the Bayek Award this year. There couldn't have really been another winner, although we did have our second place, which was. It was Abby going into labour, and that was phenomenal as well.
Yeah,
what a shocker that was!
Really good.
And can we just
keep
please,
those twists coming in 2023?
Can we please encourage Coronation Street to give us more of these really utterly thrilling twists and turns, because when they take you by surprise, they really, really do rock you to the core.
Now, we didn't hear from him earlier, but we do have a special appearance today from Joe Frost, who played lovely Leo, and he has sent a message in to us to say thank you very much for the award.
Thank you so much.
Over to Joe.
Hello, Joe Frost here, aka Leo Tompkins, back from the dead. Just to say a massive thank you to Conversation Street Podcast and all your beautiful listeners on behalf of myself and all the team at ITV Corrie for our Bayek Best Surprise Twist Award. Didn't see that one coming, did you? Neither did I.
Now it's time for the Right Laugh Award.
Right Laugh, oh you southerner.
I'm
right
sorry.
Laugh Award.
I'm sorry.
Well, we're going to be we're not picking, you've already picked the funniest member of the Coronation Street cast, character-wise, of 2022.
So many great nominees for the Right Laugh Award.
I know. I mean, Coronation, in any character really can be funny given the right script, can't they? But there's just these certain few that are there that have tickled our funny bone a little bit more than others over the past 12 months. But it was really tricky to whittle them down to 5 nominees. But who have we got?
We've got Dev. Love Dev. Always one of my favourite characters. He can do dark, he can do light, he can do comedy, he can do drama. What can't he do? We've yet to discover. We've also got Bernie, who, Bernie and Dev this year became a couple. We've already given them an award. But is Bernie due another one? Let's find out in a minute. Shona has just grown on me. Since she got shot in a box, you guys know that. I think they're giving her some great lines, and
she's
Julie
been
Goulding
fab with
so good at performing those lines.
She's been great as this kind of step-ish mum of Max in this recent storyline as well, hasn't she? And kind of making fun of him with Lauren and everything. She's just great at making the sarcastic comment. Even like last week at Christmas when she did her people, you might be thinking that you shouldn't be wearing a Santa's hat when you're serving at a cafe, but don't worry, I'm friends with the Elf Inspector.
That was
just
great.
Little things like that I very
really
much
silly.
appreciate. And Julia Goulding is fantastic at delivering those lines. And sadly, she's going to be leaving the show for a little bit when she pops her sprog out. Well, she's already out, hasn't she? So that's going to be imminent, but I'm sure we'll be welcoming her back with open arms later this year.
We've also got Evelyn, played by giant of stage and screen, Maureen Lipman. What a legend she is. Mm-hmm. And we've got a new entry, Glenda.
Yeah.
She's won the AF Award. Can she win the Right Laugh award.
That's right. Well, let's find out, Gemma. It's time over to you. Announce our winner, please.
The winner of the 2022 Right Laugh Award for Funniest Character, the Conversation Street Awards, goes to Evelyn.
Evelyn Plummer, you've
well
done it.
done. And Shona
Congratulations.
came in second place.
Yeah, I'm really, really happy that
I'm
Shona
chuffed
did
for
so
Shona.
well with the second place. Very proud. I don't know whether she's I can't remember whether we just given her a nomination before, but she's really settled well into that comedy role, hasn't she? But it was Evelyn once more who has who's got the most votes for the comic stylings of Maureen Lipman. And I will have to say this now, we do not have an acceptance speech from Maureen Lipman, from Dame Maureen.
You know,
She's
I'm
a little
sure
bit beyond our reach.
if her agent's listening and you want to send one in, we'll definitely include this if you would like to accept gracefully. But I mean, she's got so many awards already. What's one more? She
She won the best comic performance at the Inside Soap Awards.
There you
this
go.
year. Yeah.
And this year,
You got any favourite Evelyn moments in 2022?
I enjoyed her conflict with Mimi.
That was good, wasn't it? Because when Mimi, Phil's mum, was in the show this time last year, I think that was when Evelyn wasn't in the show, and so we didn't get a chance to see those two Harridans coming up against each other. But that was brilliant. I mean, I remember very fondly their duet that they did at Phil and Fiz's wedding of "I Know Him So Well,"
Fantastic
which is brilliant.
stuff.
But I loved her in that.
She tried to kill somebody with a cricket bat.
Did she?
Well, she went after somebody with a cricket bat in a charity shop.
Oh yeah, she did, didn't she? Oh yeah, all the charity shop stuff. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. Well, hopefully we'll be able to see a bit more of that once the precinct opens, and we'll see a few more charity shop scenes. But yeah, when she was working there, just getting fed up with all the witterings of the owner, that was brilliant. She sometimes she can deliver the lines in a brilliant way, but sometimes just some of the looks that she gives, the withering. Glances at people who she clearly sees as beneath her are just hilarious.
It's not always the script with Evelyn.
No.
She you can give her a line that would be completely innocuous in a lot of people's mouths, but in Evelyn, she can just deliver it in such a withering manner and give you such a horrible look at the end of it that she's just hilarious.
I love how over the top she can be with things as well. Even like in the wedding we had with Fizz and Tyrone last week, where she comes back and she's does that very loud whisper of the fact that she's got the same hat as she had for the previous wedding. It's just brilliant. And this year as well, 2022 was also we might have forgotten about this one, the year where she crosses the boundaries between Coronation Street and Yellow Page. Was it Yellow Page's advert where she does He's Got an Ology?
I honestly don't know what.
Oh no, it's BT, isn't it? It's a
right,
BT advert that Maureen Lipman was in back in the 80s, and she's on the phone to somebody talking about the fact that they got an ology for their O levels or whatever. And then earlier this year we had that character Jim Fizz who comes in and is the catalyst for Brian and Kathy's split. And Evelyn gets the line, "Oh, he's got an ology," because he's a mixologist, and little sly wink and a bit of a fourth wall break to us there. But I mean, there's so many things. But I think sometimes with the comedy characters, because it's like fleeting, it's in the moment, isn't it? She's had so many great lines, but a lot of them have just disappeared out of my head. But I always do appreciate Evelyn's input into all of these. Into all these scenes and the stuff that she has with Roy as well. I just love it. I think she's a real asset to the show, and it's no surprise that she's been voted yet again the recipient of the Right Laugh Award for 2022.
And I'm going to say here, I think that Evelyn is a working class version of Cousin Violet, the Dowager Duchess from Downton Abbey.
I think
played by
she would
equally
aspire
legendary
to be
Maggie Smith.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Yeah. Right.
I kind of want to see, and this will never happen because I don't think they could have Downton Abbey mentioned on Coronation Street. But I just kind of want her to watch a scene with that character in and be like, oh, she thinks she is.
They could. I think they mentioned things like Love Island and that on Coronation Street. I think ITV shows are more likely than others to get a shout out, so it's certainly not out of the question.
I'd love that.
You're right, definitely.
Just the total not understanding that she's basically the same person, except she hasn't got a fancy house to sit in where she judges everybody from.
She doesn't. She can judge everybody perfectly well from the settee of Number 9. can't
And that's
she?
why we love her.
As I say, we have not got Maureen Lippmann-Hadley on the show to say thank you for the award, but I'm sure she'd be thinking it if she knew. And we have got one award left. It's the big one. So let's
Only
move
one
on.
left?
That's right. Let's move on to our final award of the show. So it is time for the big one, That's Champion, where our listeners have been voting in their droves for their best storyline of the year. And then we have got, as with all the other ones, 5 nominees for you here. So number 1, the baby drama with Abby and Toya and Imran took up a huge chunk of the first half of the year and carried on, I was guessing, a little bit into the second half as well with the trial. Max's grooming storyline, which showed up towards the tail end of 2022, has certainly got its fair share of fans, me included. All the drama with Tyrone, Fizz and Phil seems to have been a constant presence on the street throughout 2022. And in the second half, we also had the Stephen Turns killer. And I think I would include all the stuff with Audrey and Money Woes and everything in there as well. And our final nominee for the year is Kelly's exit. And that to me also includes, everything with Gary and Laura and everything building up in Millie Gibson's final months of the show. But there can only be one winner. And the champion of the That's Champion Award in 2022 goes to the Abby, Imran and Toya baby drama.
Yay!
Congratulations, guys. What more is there to say, really? So
we've talked about so many different elements of this storyline because we've had Abby winning top last, we've had Imran winning top
I think they're the only other awards that this one's got so far. And I think this is one thing to say about 2022 is that we've got a nice mix of awards, haven't we? It hasn't all come from the same storyline. We've got little bits and pieces all over the place. But I think I would certainly agree with the majority of the viewers here. We've got 49.6% of you, so almost half of you voted for this as the big story of the year. And I think I would certainly agree with that one.
Max's grooming storyline was second place.
Yeah, exactly. Which is nice for a story which is quite so recent as well. But this one has been nominated for lots of other proper awards as well, hasn't it? And it is certainly what helped keep me glued to my seat as the spring rolled round in 2022. So I felt that on the whole the year had a bit of a slowish start, but as soon as Abby dropped that baby, that was me hooked in for the next few months. There were
so many heart-wrenching moments there. Saying goodbye to Elsie was tragic.
Oh my gosh, Elsie! I was always hoping that she would come back.
Georgia Taylor and Sally Carman have been dehydrated to incredible lengths this year with all the tears that they've shed over this terrible...
Well, there was that one brilliant scene, wasn't there, after Imran dies and Toya finds out about it and she's there in the hospital room cradling Alfie and she's got the tears streaming down her cheeks, and there's like about a 3-minute monologue there from Georgia Taylor which was fantastically performed, where she's remembering back to Imran, and even though he was a bit of a dirty dog, as we know, she still loved him, and she's like going, oh, his eyes, and he was so handsome, and oh, he was so lovely, and it was, and now he's gone. That was again one of my favourite scenes of the year. But yeah, there was I loved the scene with her where she was at the police station and she was being shown the footage of the crash, and she and up until this point she didn't want to really admit to herself that she was the one that was responsible for her husband's death here. So that was amazing. There was all the trial stuff as well in September, including confessing to Leanne that she did it on purpose. Still doesn't sit quite right with me, but it doesn't detract from the overall brilliance of this story. I really, really did enjoy it.
We've also got all the stuff, we've already mentioned what Abby and Imran were up to before Imran left, him feuding with her and the injustice really of Abby having to fight against this system that's totally rigged against her right from the very beginning.
She shouldn't be a druggie.
The questions about, is she actually going to do a good job here? Is Alfie in safe hands? We hope that he is, but still not sure.
Well, she's got the support of Kevin now,
have up their sleeves for her if she wants to.
I would hope so. It feels like after having a terrible time being a mum to the others, that this should be the one where she finally gets it right. I'd like to see a happy ending for Abby here. As much as honestly I would have preferred for Imran and Toya to have lived happily ever after with Alfie, with that not able to happen now, I do hope for all the best for Abby and Kevin as they're looking after this little sprogling.
Well, I mean, that's the thing I'm trying to say. Sally Carman's performance in this, along with Georgia Taylor and Charlie DeMello, has made this such an epic story.
Yeah.
And really, and especially interesting for us too, because it's funny. It was funny watching people take sides, and it was hard for us because we like all the actors.
Yeah, we were basically tasked with choosing a side, like you said, between
Really
the Habibs and the Websters. I mean, a shout out as well to Mike Lavelle, who
Yes.
was a much more minor player in this whole story, but he had some cracking moments.
He
as
rose
well.
to the occasion for sure.
But especially when the revelation came out to Toya that Alfie was Imran's son, because that was another brilliant scene with them all, wasn't it? When they're at the adoption
Fantastic.
meeting, and you kind of go into that, and Toya knows that Alfie is Imran's, and she waits a couple of minutes into the meeting before revealing it, and to see the smile drop from Imran's face was gut wrenching as an Imran fan, but very, very fun to watch. But yeah, everyone in this story has been just fantastic. And
Well, the thing about it was that we were kind of very much on Imran and Toya's side, but they were clearly the sort of villains of the piece, and Abby was the hero, the underdog. She'd made mistakes in the past, but she was committed to try to rectify them and be the best mum she could with Alfie. But she was having that chance robbed from her by these, two middle class evil.
But I think it wasn't so black
No,
and white as
I know
that,
it
was
wasn't. It wasn't.
When Abby abandoned Alfie at the hospital, that was fantastic. And as much as an Abby fan as I am, to see her do that and kind of leave her kid there, it's like, oh no, how can you do this?
But then the irony was that it was Toya that convinced her to give it another try.
Yeah. And even though Toya and Imran, it felt like we weren't supposed to be gunning for them, they still did have some lovely moments, like the Hindu stag night scenes where Toya's getting tiddly outside Red Bank Apartment. So that's again another favourite scene of the year.
I definitely think it's a lot more balanced than it seemed to be from social media, because I think once you picked your side, that was it.
Yeah.
You decided everything the other people did was wrong. But it was really interesting, and it was a nuanced storyline. I feel. And you could sympathise with everybody in this.
You could, and I think that was the real the thing that
the skill,
the skill of it, and it is what's made people vote for it, because it got people talking the most. I think this was a story that people were the most invested in. Whose side do you on? Who do you want Alfie to end up with? Etc.
You can tell how passionate people get about it, because it was one of those ones that people argued about on Twitter, where people are like, how could you say that? Oh, I can't believe you think this, that and the other thing.
That's exactly right. If it caused the furore on social media, you've caught the imagination something. Yeah. And it's a shame that after the summer and the trial and everything, it's kind of over with now, and it looks like Toya's moved on.
It springboarded a lot of other things, like Wendy, which then led to the play storyline with Ken and the return of Martha, which was very exciting. And then we've also had Spider come back.
Yeah, he's sprung out of this story as well, I suppose, hasn't he? Rescuing Toya from the pits of despair.
And an integral part of the Max grooming storyline. So really, really epic story. I'm very chuffed this one. I'm pleased. I really enjoyed the other nominees too. I think that there were some really, really great stories this year. There was no big, obvious A storyline, but this one definitely won people's hearts, and I think it's a well-deserving winner of the Max Champion Award.
Very sad that we had to lose Imran from it.
Like I said, I want to rewind, please.
Yeah, that's just a little change maybe. We are joined towards the end of the episode now by Sally Carman once more, who's kindly agreed to do an acceptance speech for the That's Champion Award. So passing you back, here comes Sally Carman.
Hello again, it's me, Sally Carman. I've been on this more than I've been on Coronation Street this year. Again, thank you so much for voting the Alfie baby storyline top storyline. That's phenomenal. But I can't take the credit for that. That was an absolute dream team effort. So I have to take my hat off to my amazing, brilliant co-stars, Charlie DeMello and Georgia Taylor, also the lovely Michael Lavelle. I just adore them, love them, worship them. So this is just a beautiful cherry on top of an already delicious cake. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas.
And there we have it. Another year is over for the Conversation Street Awards. Thank you everybody who's taken part this year and voted. It's been great seeing the votes come in, and I hope that some of your favourites got picked as well. Thank you so much again to all of the stars of the show who came on to give their acceptance speeches as well. It is very, very...
It means so much to us.
It does mean a lot to us that people would do that.
And it's because of the support of you guys listening that we've been able to get big enough for us to be able to get people to write in, to post in
to post in their
acceptance speeches. Really don't ever take any of you guys for granted. Thank you so much for listening. And that leads us into our special
our post-final award of the night. We have got one extra one, haven't we? But this isn't one that you've been voting for. This is our Mad for It award, which has been running for a good few years now, where we pick our Listener of the Year. And of course, this was set up a few years ago in tribute to a listener who's no longer with us, sadly, Diane Williams, who was better known as Tibor in the Coronation Street community, a big supporter of the show. And every year since her death, we've picked out and commemorated a particular listener who we wanted to give a special shout out to.
Because it really is the community that's the most important thing about this podcast, and you guys are so amazing. We're so grateful for our fans, and so here we go. The winner,
I'm gonna leave it to you, Gemma.
The winner of the Mad for It Award in 2022 goes to Richard Taylor. Thank you so much,
Richard.
You guys, if you listen, you all know he sends in our regular emails to us, which are very thoughtful and kind, and he is a very supportive patron member.
Yeah.
And he has done a lot behind the scenes for the podcast.
Yeah, no, he really has. He's been fantastic supporting us. He always sends us really lovely. Sometimes we cut out some of the loveliness in his messages as well, because it can feel a bit, embarrassing. Really,
can't toot our own horn too much.
Says. But I think for the support that he's given us over the last few years, it was an easy pick this year, I think, to go for Richard.
He frequently contributes to our Facebook group, which if you haven't joined, you might enjoy. It's a very friendly bunch, and it's nothing to do with us. They are just lovely people in general, and they're all very supportive of each other.
I definitely like to think that the Facebook group will be nodding their heads in agreement at our pick this year.
And he also took part in the Cast versus Fans quiz.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? I had a chat with him. He did a round on
so
the quiz this year.
So exciting to listen to the voices of some of our listeners.
Yeah, and that might be the first time we heard him. And he kindly donated his prize as well, didn't he? So everybody who took part won a Coronation Street
trivia book,
trivia book, and he very kindly donated that to another listener as well. So
we're so grateful for everybody that listens, and Richard is the winner of the Mad for It Award this year, and we just so excited that we have so many people to pick from, and we're just I honestly feel very lucky and honoured to have such a lovely group of listeners. And we really hope that you will be staying with us through 2023 to find out what's going to happen. And don't forget, also, we're going to have our predictions.
We will do. That's going to be coming in early January.
We've got so many other things we need to fit in. But
there's also an awful lot that's happened in 2022 that we've not been able to kind of talk about in our end of year summary podcast, have we? So that's going to come maybe next week, maybe the week after. We'll be giving our final rundown thoughts about everything else that happened in 2022. And like you said, there'll be some predictions for 2020. I haven't really got many at the moment.
I haven't
have to get my thinking cap on, to be honest.
I just love it every year. The end of the year and the beginning of the new year is such a really special time on the podcast, because it's a time of reflection and also a time to appreciate what we've had, and just be grateful for the fact that we have a lovely show to talk about, talented performers in the show, and also such skillful directors, producers, everybody that writes and produces the show, and all the makeup and the wardrobe and everybody, and also all you guys that listen, because you support us just by listening and supporting us on social media and things, and we just so happy that we're able to do this, and it's because of you. So You all win the award. Oh my gosh. And so do we.
We could give an award to everyone if we wanted
everybody.
to, because again, there
Well
aren't
done.
any actual physical awards here.
We've made it to another year.
Thank you everybody for listening. It's been lovely hosting the podcast for another year. Very, very special year to us. Obviously the 10th year. We celebrated our 10th anniversary doing Conversation Street this year. We had a fad trip away, and no doubt we'll be reflecting on that again in the show in a couple of weeks.
Will we ever shut up about it?
Maybe
no.
Maybe not.
Never.
We are very, very happy with how things turned out this summer.
Couldn't have asked for more. Thank you so
anyway,
much.
Thank you for
everybody
listening.
that helped make it happen, which includes you if you're listening.
Yes.
So give yourself a pat on the back and enjoy the rest of your day.
We will see you in 2023.
We certainly
with more
shall.
Corrie chat. But until then, ta-ra from me.
Ta-ra from me.